Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Access Channel Comics. I'm your host, Corey Banks, coming at you with an old school throwback setup. I want to kind of go back to my old way of doing things, just maybe for a little bit. We'll see how it goes. But I enjoy doing it both ways, but I do prefer the other style that I do my show, which many of you have seen. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. What's the important thing is we are coming back with some stuff right now. We're going to talk about the year upcoming. 2017 movies coming up in what's coming ahead. Movies that we're looking very forward to seeing. 2016, we've talked about 2016 up and down. Of course, it's the current year. We've seen the good, we've seen the bad, we've seen the ugly. So we want to move forward ahead right here in the current and the present and moving forward to the future. Before we do, speaking of the present, we want to really give a tribute and a shout out to Miss Carrie Fisher, who passed away a few days ago. Many of you knew Carrie Fisher, aka Princess Leia, for the Star Wars movies. She was one of the most recent ones was Star Wars: The Force Awakens. She was in that role. She also contributed a lot to the Star Wars universe. She was a script doctor. She got to write her own dialogue when she felt like maybe this wasn't right what Princess Leia was saying. She respected the script, but she didn't overall change everything. But she changed a couple of minor things which will make more sense for the character. Sometimes actors do that, which is very great. Also, her mother passed away a little bit after she had done. Miss Debbie Reynolds, golden age old school actress in Hollywood. Their legacies are very deep and very huge, and they're leaving behind a beautiful legacy. Carrie Fisher has a daughter, also Billie Lourd, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Please forgive me, Billie, if I'm not. She plays on the Fox hit TV show Scream Queens, wears the earmuffs, Chanel number 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken. I love that show. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, Scream Queens. But and she also had an appearance in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. She worked on the team when her mom had the Princess Leia hairstyle. That's Carrie Fisher's daughter, Debbie Reynolds' granddaughter. So their legacies will carry on. It may carry on through her and her film and television career. It's just a great thing to be doing, and they will be missed. And here at Access Channel Comics, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families. And moving right along. Speaking of Star Wars, Rogue One. The Star Wars story is doing phenomenal well at the box office, already over 500 million, and it's just doing blockbuster numbers and ticket sales. Greatly reviewed, fans and critics really enjoying it. It's something that what movies should be about. We've been such a divide with so many movies this year. It's kind of hurtful at times because people want honest opinions, but nobody wants us to be discouraged to go see a movie. But that's a choice you gotta make. We know what we're talking about. It's like so many of us this past year look forward to Batman v Superman. Probably and arguably the most anticipated movie of all time, the two biggest superheroes ever. And the way the movie was done in the theatrical release, it was good, but it was not on that level of great. However, the Ultimate Edition, if you see that, the one they should have released in theaters, you can pick that up on Blu-ray and DVD if you haven't done so already. It's also on digital download. That movie is great. The Ultimate Edition does the movie justice. So anyway, moving along, we want to go over some of the movies that's coming up in 2017. I'm not going to go over every movie because there's lots of movies, but I'm going to go over the ones that's mainly a lot of people looking very forward to. And different ages and everything. I think 2017 is going to be a better year for movies. I think people have come to learn sometimes don't expect too much out of things, don't hype yourself up too much. But then again, I can't really say that too much because you do have social media out there. And social media, everyone's a critic now. But that's just the way it is. But anyway, let's just go ahead and move along. First up in 2017, movie release coming up is Lego Batman movie. That will be voiced by Will Arnett, returning as the Batman, the Dark Knight. The Lego Batman movie is very beloved. It's part of which Batman is a beloved superhero anyway. His live action movies and everything. The cast: Will Arnett as Batman, Rosario Dawson, Ralph Fiennes, Mike Sierra, and Zach Galifianakis, if I'm pronouncing correctly. If I'm not mistaken, he will be voicing the Joker. Therefore, I am in for Lego Batman. I think that would be very well. That'll be DC Comics, and along with Lego from Warner Brothers, the first release of 2017 in the movie theaters. Write your comments, whatever you think about that. How do you think that will go? I think this is the Lego Batmans always do pretty well. The ones that were released straight to Blu-ray and DVD has sold well. The ones going to theater, and plus the Steam on the Lego Movie a couple of years ago has just been phenomenal for a lot of things. So I think that will do very well at the box office. Great for kids to go see. So make sure you definitely go check that out. And then we got coming up in March. I got to get back on the release date. But in, let's see, in March we have Logan coming out. I want to recheck that because Logan is either coming out between March or May. And that's what a lot of Marvel movies does. This will be, rumor has it heavily, that this will be Hugh Jackman's last performance as Logan, aka the Wolverine character. And it's been a blast. You know, you got to take a look at Hugh Jackman's run. It's synonymous. Like Clint Eastwood's overall run has been in Hollywood, how The Undertaker has been in wrestling. You know, with Hugh Jackman playing this character since 2000, we got to remember he started playing this character at a time where superhero movies, people were hesitant to make those because Superman, the movie, was such a phenomenon. And Superman 2 kept the pace going in a great way. But then the other movies waned. Batman came out in 1989, blew the blockbuster scene up, put in a new establishment for it. Batman Returns did well, but then Batman Forever was okay, but then the movie, that franchise, it aired out. Then movies like Blade came along, and a lot of people didn't know Blade was actually a superhero comic book movie. They just thought it was an action film, but they found out it was with Marvel. A lot of the diehard community knew, comic book community knew it was, but a lot of people didn't. But then when X-Men came out, people knew X-Men was comic book superheroes, and they were very tentative on it. It came out in November 2000, and it did pretty well at the box office. They said, let's start making these movies again. You got to give certain people credit. And Bryan Singer and Hugh Jackman and all those, Patrick Stewart, they started that when that superhero movies where Hollywood wasn't too convinced, which they are now. So give that franchise big props, and Hugh Jackman is coming back. It's going to have some elements of Old Man Logan. X-23 will be in it. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they do it, none to say the less. So I look very forward to that. And I would actually love for them to do something like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine put on one of his X-Men costumes, just for at least a final battle scene. Sometimes like he does in the animation in the comics, but you know, it's cool. But yeah, Hugh Jackman and Logan, check it out, coming out in 2017. We also have Ghost in the Shell coming out, starring Scarlett Johansson. Honestly, I don't know a lot about the story. I know it's been a lot of controversy over it because, if I'm not mistaken, of course, Scarlett Johansson, beautiful, one of my favorites, Caucasian. That role is actually, if I'm not mistaken, an Asian role. And sometimes in Hollywood, they kind of change things like that. It may have those kid-centric elements. I don't know. But we'll just have to see how the film goes. But a lot of people are waiting on this film. And Scarlett Johansson has proven she is a quality actress. She's always been good as an actress. But her household name definitely came when she got the Black Widow character in Iron Man 2 in 2010. And she's been in the other Marvel movies. So her face is becoming more and more bigger as a phenomenon well known. So we'll see how that goes. Then comes up to some more big cats. May 5th, 2017. They are back, the Misfits. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That will be dropping on May the 5th, 2017 by Marvel Studios. This will be Marvel's 15th or 16th movie. Director James Gunn will be directing the film. People returning: Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Michael Rooker, and you're going to have some other people returning too that was supporting characters. Also keep in mind, you're going to have some new players in the game coming up. You're going to have Jeff Goldblum playing the Grandmaster. Look very forward to that. Jeff Goldblum, you can't go wrong with that guy. He can make a movie that is horrible good. You know what I'm saying? So that's how pretty good he is. Enjoy his work for years. And to see him in something like this, he's been in a lot of scientific type movies. And Guardians of the Galaxy has that flavor. Look very forward to that. I enjoyed the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember going to see it in 2014. It's good to see a refreshing take on something. And keep in mind, although Marvel has that credibility, this is one of those times where a lot of people didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy. And so they was kind of wondering about that, but it did great game-buster numbers at the box office. I look very forward to the second one. We get Kurt Russell will be in it. May get to see, I Don't know if it's confirmed. May get to see a little bit more Thanos, but Thanos is definitely getting suited up for Infinity War. They start shooting that next month. So Marvel, of course, steamrolling again. Can't go wrong with Marvel. But then we go to one of their longtime kind of friends, but competitors, and that is DC Comics. That is with Warner Brothers. And up next for DC Comics, their fourth entry into the DC Extended Universe, and that is Wonder Woman. Now, keep in mind, DC has always had a cinematic universe. But when you see films like the Dark Knight trilogy, even though some people still consider the Dark Knight trilogy have elements in there, which they do, in the DC Extended Universe, those are prior DC cinematic universes, multiverses, so to speak, like Superman the movie. Now, I think Wonder Woman is going to do something similar to what the Dark Knight trilogy did, if people give it a fresh shake. I think it is going to bring fans and critics together. It looks phenomenal. These trailers, they have really convinced me. And plus, I've always wanted to see a Wonder Woman movie. I was debating, will this be my most anticipated movie of the year? For many people, it will be. And I was battling between that and Justice League. And the reason why I'm saying Wonder Woman is my second most anticipated movie of the year is this. One, it's kind of a win-win as far as seeing her, because she's going to fully, of course, lead Wonder Woman movie. It's her movie. And she's going to be one of the full lead stars in Justice League movie. But Justice League is something I've been looking very forward to since I was a kid. So we'll talk about that later. But Wonder Woman is also what I've been looking very forward to. This is something refreshing for all of us. Because keep in mind, it's coming after 10 years after Wonder Woman movie was supposed to come out in 2007, when Joss Whedon was possibly going to be part of it. But it goes to show you good things come to those way. You got a great director, Patty Jenkins. Gal Gadot has really proven she is worth being on the camera. Also, Gal Gadot in her country has performed military service, and she looks fantastic as Wonder Woman. I enjoyed her in Batman v Superman, and I think she's going to knock it out of the ballpark. I think Wonder Woman is going to be one of those superhero movies, films, period, that's going to get people rethinking again. It's going to change the business, dare I say revolutionize, put it in another stratosphere, because it's something different. So look very forward to the Amazonian Princess, one of the founding members of the Justice League, one of the original 7. So make sure you look that up. She's big time. And that's coming out June the 2nd, 2017. So I think Wonder Woman will have a big opening debut and stack up on some cash and be a huge hit for Warner Brothers. It will be, as I said, the fourth entry in the DC Extended Universe, behind Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Suicide Squad. And this is going to be looking fantastic. Gal Gadot stars in it. Chris Pine will be starring as Steve Trevor. Connie Nielsen as Hippolyta. You have so many other great characters. Wonder Woman on itself, the whole DC universe is great characters. But she's the other one, even in the solo, got great world. I'm glad she's part of the DC universe, the DC Extended Universe. So that is Wonder Woman starring Gal Gadot. Go check it out. Now, coming up after that, some weeks after that, June 23rd, 2017, is Transformers The Last Night. Now, what can I say about this? Me, myself, I'm not really putting it in as one of the most anticipated movies I'm looking forward to. Put it like this. The very first Transformers movie, live action that is, came out 10 years before. Looked so forward to it. It almost like nearly broke the internet. People were downloading it. People were hyped about it. Got the money worth. The second Transformers, it really suffered. One, because of the back then in 2009, not the walkout, but the Hollywood writers' strike and everything like that. And some of the Transformers just haven't been the same. I think it's really time for them to come out with something new. You just can't keep shooting beautiful girls leaning over cars or whatever, the same old stuff. I think it's time for someone else to take over as far as director. I think they'll keep Michael Bay on directing as long as they want to, because it does make money. Don't get me wrong, Transformers movies make money. The last two have made over $1 billion, although Dark of the Moon made more than Age of Extinction, if I'm not mistaken. They do make money. They come very close to making $1 billion or making $1 billion, so we'll see. I would just really like someone to really get a hold of it. Imagine someone like James Gunn getting a hold of it or something like that. A great storyteller. So that'll be starring Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Hopkins, which is a very good sign, because Anthony Hopkins pretty much 9 times out of 10 chooses great work. Josh Duhamel will be returning. I'm very happy to hear about that. Laura Haddock. It's got some other, people people, pretty much returning and stuff like that. So we'll see. The trailer got some interesting stuff in it. How Prime is attacking Bumblebee. So is he? He was floating around in space. So maybe something happened with his program. Someone reprogrammed him, corrupted him. I'm not sure. Megatron has a new look. I do like the fusion cannon on the arm. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to go check it out. But the thing about it is, will I go check it out opening weekend? I don't know. I'm not just going in headstrong like how I'm looking so very forward to see like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 or Wonder Woman, or the next one I'm about to bring up, everyone's favorite wall crawler, and that is SpiderMan Homecoming. Now, SpiderMan Homecoming will be released July the 7th, 2017 by Marvel and Sony. That looks pretty cool sitting together. And this just brings us to like this. Never say never. No one ever thought they would see Spider-Man in the MCU, which he deserves to be in the MCU. Spider-Man is the face of Marvel when it comes to characters. Just like Superman is the face of DC. Just like Batman is the face of DC. Spider-Man is that face of Marvel. I've always been like, and let's not forget, X-Men has been that face of Marvel for a long time. We're not knocking any of the other characters, but now you can say, you got some of the other faces like, of course, Captain America, who's always been a great one, and Iron Man now, but, it's great to see Sony and Marvel cooperating on this. Something maybe Fox and Marvel should consider. Because Sony saw the popularity weighing on Spider-Man and was going downhill. You don't want it like that, so it's good they put their pride aside. And they're still playing it smart. They're making the bank on it, what I'm saying? So that's smart of Sony to interact with Marvel. It will be starring Tom Holland, who will be playing the wall crawler Spider-Man, who will play Peter Parker. A lot of interesting stuff. Robert Downey Jr. will be reprising his role as Tony Stark Iron Man. But also, we have Michael Keaton, a Batman alumni who's been playing Bruce Wayne and Batman himself twice. He will be playing the Vulture. And Michael Keaton is a phenomenal actor, Academy Award nominee, one of the greatest actors of all time. Michael Keaton can do comedy. He can do suspense, thriller, horror, whatever you give it to. And the Vulture looks fantastic in this movie. He looks terrifying. What I like about the trailer is it's colorful. It's got all the jokes in there and everything like that. But when the Vulture hits the screen, you're like, am I looking at the same trailer? It's perfect. It's great. And you need something like that. I'm happy to hear the Shocker is going to be in it. Been playing by Bokeem Woodbine, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. He's an actor, been around for a long time, one of my favorites. And I know you probably say, well, how can you be a favorite if you pronounce the name wrong? Kind of a little funny name to pronounce. Unique name. But I always like his thing since Jason Laird back in the day. He's going to be playing the Shocker, one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. When you think about villains, Batman and Spider-Man, they got the best Rose Gallery villains. Batman, top dog, number 1. And I would say Spider-Man, number 2. But those are great Rose Gallery villains. I'm not saying my opinion on the one that matters. I'm just saying it's just great. And going to see, it looks like Vulture's cooking up a group. Keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, Vulture was one of the founding fathers of the Sinister Six. Keep in mind, in the comics, you couldn't understand why he's doing what he's doing. Vulture can be evil, but he's doing certain things for purpose. He was cheated by another businessman. He also he's trying to find a cure for a family member, either his nephew or niece. I think it's his niece. And so he has motives. Kind of reminds me of kind of like Dr. Langstrom in a sense from Batman. But I look very forward to Spider-Man Homecoming, seeing his solo debut film in the MCU. Iron Man, it looks so cool when he and Iron Man just going around the city together, you know what I'm saying? Spider-Man swinging the web, Iron Man flying. So that's great stuff. Comic book come to life. I look very forward to it. Once again, Transformers, The Last Night, released June 23rd, 2017, and Spider-Man Homecoming, July 7th, 2017. Also, then you have Alien Covenant. The Alien franchise coming back big time. Our director Ridley Scott, sorry, Michael Fassbender, and you got some other people returning also. They'll be released August the 4th, 2017. Going more deeper into the alien world. It will be spanning out after Prometheus, and now this time people will definitely be taking shape, recognize this is Alien. Alien has a huge historic franchise, mythology. The old ones with Sigourney Weaver. It's been a while since I watched the films, but they are worth watching. At least for the most part of them. So it'll look very cool to see how that's done. So moving right along, let's see what else we got, because there are some films on these lists that are possibles and some that are definite, just as the next ones that I'm going to be mentioning. And that is from Marvel Studios, Thor Ragnarok. Looking very forward to this also. Thor Ragnarok is a huge storyline, arguably Thor's biggest storyline. But this will be more of the Thor Ragnarok that was based on kind of the end of the world as far as Asgard, more so than the cyborg version of Thor. It also will feature the Incredible Hulk. You will get to see Bruce Banner appearing in this film. And they will be taking elements from Planet Hulk storyline. If you've never seen Planet Hulk, please do read it. They also had the animated movie back on Netflix. They recently reloaded it back up. It's back on my Insta-Queue. One of probably my favorite Marvel animation movies. Marvel doesn't get a lot of credit for the animation, but Marvel's animation has been good. DC is more top-notch on the animation. They're great. But one of the best Marvel animations period is Planet Hulk. Check out that story because you'll see kind of the elements they're going to be using in Thor Ragnarok. So that's going to be very phenomenal. You know, Chris Hemsworth reprises the role as Thor. Jamie Alexander come back as Lady Sif. Kate Blanchett would be and Mark Ruffalo playing the Incredible Hulk. Tom Hiddleston coming back as Loki. A lot of people waiting to see Loki. Tom Hiddleston, one of the business guys in the universe. So he's done some phenomenal work over the years. And I definitely look forward to seeing him also in another movie, Kong Skull Island. I look very forward to seeing him, John Goodman, Samuel L. Jackson. A lot of people are going to be doing that. And then in that, I think that'll be released early in 2017, earlier. We was wondering how could King Kong match up against Godzilla, but when you see the size of this King Kong, you'll see how. But back to Thor Ragnarok, we'll definitely look forward to that. That's from Marvel. Now we're going to move over to their competition again, and that is from Warner Brothers DC Comics. Arguably, probably, if you think about superhero movies, arguably the most anticipated superhero movie of all time. Probably neck and neck or after Batman and Superman, which we've gotten that. The Justice League. The Justice League is the all-star groups of all-star groups. And this is a movie where, think about what the Avengers did. You want this movie to do well and be up there on par with the Avengers, because the Avengers is something you thought that would never happen. Now the Justice League, keep in mind, was something that was supposed to happen in 2008. But here we are, going on 9 years later, and on November the 17th, 2017, the world's greatest superheroes will be taking flight on the big screen for the very first time. They set box office records, set records for selling comic books, had great animation, television shows, movies through the years, video games, but now this is the first time they're going to be on a live action mainstream level. You have the founding members: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Barry Allen, Aquaman, and kind of a DC 52 mixture, Cyborg, will be leading up the cast. Now, there may be a possibility other characters may be joining. Keep in mind, this is the first Justice League movie. Justice League 2 will be coming out around 2019. Now, keep in mind, Superman will be returning. It could be in the third act. After his death in Batman v Superman, Superman will be returning. Keep in mind also the Green Lantern. We don't know if he's going to show up in the first one. And we'll see if it's Hal Jordan. I know that's who I want it to be. But they may be saving him for part 2 or something like that. There's many ways this can go. In the mythology, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, The Flash, Barry Allen, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter are the original 7. That was kind of swapped out in DC 52 with Cyborg being in Martian Manhunter's place. But this is going to be something special. This film stars Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Amber Heard, Eliza Miller, Ray Fisher, Jason Momoa, Amy Adams, J.K. Simmons. A terrific cast. Jeremy Irons will be returning. Jesse Eisenberg. Also, this just is going to be a phenomenal cast. This is going to be lead stars and supporting stars. William Dafoe will also be in this movie. This is a movie that I got a very good feeling about. They invited people out on the set ahead of time. An embargo kind of lifted almost a year early. So that's confidence level. I know that Jeremy Irons reportedly said that Batman v Superman deserved bad reviews because it was the script was too overstuffed, and I must agree. Because when I looked at Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, I liked it, but there was part of me saying I can't lie and convince myself, say, wow, I'm getting that same feel I did out of The Dark Knight. Wow, I'm getting that same feel I did out of Batman Begins. Wow, I'm getting that same feel I did from the Avengers. You know, wow, I'm getting that same feel I did from X-Men Days of Future Past. And just because I left some movies out, it don't mean I didn't get any films out of them. It's just the point. It was kind of disappointing. But then when I watched the Ultimate Edition, I heard so much about it. I had to agree with John Schnapp. It made so much more difference. It was 30 extra minutes, but it was put in the right places. It made so much more sense. And I said, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition, it's a great film. This is the one that should have been in theaters. But I think with Warner Brothers, what I commend them is letting their pride down and saying to the people, it's kind of like, we do apologize, we're aware, and we're not going to let you down. They're thinking more in the direction, and people, don't get me wrong, this is a business. You can't not Warner Brothers, you can't not Disney, any of these places, they have to make money. They got to keep the lights on and everything. It's even more so, they want to make things, but I think they're really looking at now, there's a reason why people talk about Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz, the Godfather movies, the Star Wars movies, the Rocky films, the Back to the Future films, the Die Hards, Lethal Weapons, the Terminators, the Rambos. There's a reason why people talk about the Dark Knight trilogy time and time again, because they didn't do it necessarily for the money, they did it for the legacy. And I think that's what these films like Justice League is going to mean. I want Justice League to do so well and rank among some of the all-time greatest because they are that group. And that's not taking anything away from anything. I don't get emotional, but they're my favorite superhero team of all time. And I definitely look forward to the movie. Having got a nice DC Comics Justice League t-shirt. Lord willing, I'm still on this earth. I look very forward to that. So that, again, Justice League will be released November 17th, 2017. Go check it out. Look very forward to that. Let's see. Also, as for talking about as far as the final, like I said, some movies, will still be coming out, but I'm hitting up on the major big ones. And also to go back up, keep in mind, next Fast and Furious will be coming out. That normally comes out around Memorial Holiday, if I'm not mistaken. Look very forward to this. This looks very interesting. How they're going to do this? What's up with Toretto? Why is he does Charlize Theron has something on Vin Diesel's character? It'll be very interesting to see that. What's going on with that? Because I think it's either it could be brainwashing, but I think she has something on him, and he's trying to protect the family. Because keep in mind, Fast and Furious franchise is about family. Now, ending out the year in 2017, release date December 15, 2017, will be Star Wars Episode 8. And that's going to be something to lo and behold. If I'm not mistaken, it's Episode 8. Don't jump on me if I don't know. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not a diehard like I am maybe a DC or Marvel fan. But if I'm not mistaken, it's Episode 8 because I'm trying to think. Force Awakens are Episode 7. Which takes place after Return of the Jedi. I do know that. But this will be Episode 8. And the Star Wars legacy will be continuing. This will be one of their biggest ones, because as big as Rogue One is, that's not one of their episodes things, but it plays a huge role. This is actually Episode 8. So you're going to see some familiar faces, people returning. This is going to be a bigger story for Finn, which I'm very happy about that. Rey. You will get to see this time more Luke Skywalker, because they're building up his stuff. You will get to see so much more of these characters in Star Wars, and still developing out the new character, Isaac. Keep forgetting his name, who played Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse. He will be returning also in this film. Look very forward to seeing this film. When I was a kid, I didn't really get to go see the Star Wars movies because, for one, they pretty much been released. But I was a baby and stuff. And then in the 80s, films coming out, sometimes I didn't have a whole lot of money to go see the films. But then I remember they re-released them in the theaters in the late 90s. I wasn't really totally into going to see them there, but it was great they re-released it. I always liked that. People was saying they re-released this, then they released the other episodes. I remember taking my nephew when he was a kid, going to see, was it Episode 2 or something like that? But seeing episode 7, it really took me back to my childhood, watching the Star Wars movies on cable television. It's the same thing watching Henry Cavill play Superman. It took me back with seeing Christopher Reeve play Superman. I used to get the chance to watch it on cable and stuff, or VHS tape. You know, back you had the cable box and everything. So I look very forward to Star Wars Episode 8. It's going to be very interesting to see that and see where this goes. And I'm glad that Star Wars, the franchise, is not totally done. Very happy to see that. Also, keep in mind what you have returning in 2017 is live action television from the CW verse, from the DC Comics television universe. You have Supergirl returning. That will be on Mondays at 8. The Flash returning Tuesdays at 8. Right after that, a new scheduled time for the DC's Legends tomorrow. Right after the Flash, you get a double dose on that night. Coming on at 9 o'clock is DC's Legends tomorrow on Tuesdays. Then the granddaddy of them, Arrow, will be actually in its 6th season. Arrow will be still on Wednesdays at 8. Arrow's always had that time slot. Keep in mind, Supernatural will be returning, although not on DC Comics. I think DC does their comic books, I think. But they on the Warner Brothers slate, that will be returning. Also, iZombie will be returning. iZombie will be on Thursdays now, if I'm not mistaken. iZombie is also part of the DC universe as far as Vertigo. And also with Vertigo, just like Lucifer is, that will be returning Mondays at 9, right after part of the DC universe. On another side of the DC television universe, Gotham will be returning on Mondays at 8. Many of these shows will start returning back around January the 25th. So this will be returning after the mid-season break. Walking Dead in February after the mid-season break. Rick and the crew is gaining up ground, and they're going to be doing some pretty slick stuff, having Negan thinking he's still in charge before they overtake him. So that'll be very interesting to see. I think a lot of people, the problem they had with The Walking Dead, the episodes were slow. I get it as a fan. I get it as a student of film and television. They're introducing these new characters. And not only that, they want to take a little slow to do the build-up, because now it's about to take off fast and big time. So get ready for that. Your complaints are going to wind down, trust me, because they're about to take it over big time and go at a little more faster pace. It's going to be explosions galore. Also, keep in mind, in 2017, Valiant Comics, another one of my favorites, they're going to be having streaming on the internet and the web series, live action web series. I like how Valiant doing that, building their universe up. They've done very well in the comics for years. They have also had digital comics, and now they're getting to live action web. You see, it's cool that DC and Marvel got their CW and Netflix and stuff, but it's good to Value doing live action web. And the actor who played Deadshot on Arrow as part of Suicide Squad in that verse, he was playing Ninjak. It's Ninjak versus the Value universe, so that will be very interesting to see. Get to see characters like Bloodshot, Shadow Man, Exo Man Ward, so many great characters from the Value universe. And if you haven't got a chance, pick up the Value comic books. They're very worth reading, like Faith. It's some great characters in that universe. And as much as I love to see DC and Marvel, I love to see alternates. So check that out when you get a chance. Speaking of Marvel, Marvel returns back to Netflix with Daredevil Season 3, Jessica Jones Season 2, Luke Cage Season 2. That will be coming later on, but Iron Fist will be debuting. And then you have the Defenders. Now, there is a Luke Cage Season 2 coming up, but you would be able to see that after the Defenders. Also, keep in mind, The Punisher will be coming on the way also. Don't have exact dates of those, but they're coming on the way, so that looks great. I enjoyed the Marvel Netflix series. They do a very great, grounded, realistic take on these characters. Something that they may not do in the movies, but they show you they got this gritty side also. Also on the Marvel side, keep in mind that you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Returning also. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has really picked up the pace. I've enjoyed watching it the last couple of years. Ghost Rider has been a major part of that. Ronnie Hayes, and rumor that he may be getting his own solos, his spin-off series. And I think that'll be fantastic. I would definitely like to see maybe him moonlight on Netflix also, because he's that character that can do that. That'd be very interesting. Also from Fox, which is with Marvel, we have coming up let's see, that is Legion. So that would also be coming up. So keep in mind, you got different distributions. You know the big heavy dogs at DC and Marvel, but sometimes keep in mind shows like iZombie and Lucifer, they're Vertigo DC Comics. They're also part of that DC universe. Legion is part of that X-Men universe of Marvel with Fox. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming on. It's going to be keeping you busy. Check out those Netflix. Put things in your instant queue. Binge, watch it, and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of great things coming up in 2017. But what did you look more forward to and most forward to in 2017? Is there any movies? Also keep in mind, one of the movies that's on the list, top notch, is coming out will be, that is Kingsman: The Golden Circle. So that is very highly anticipated. Look, and so we got some returning faces in that who will be coming back. So that is one of the most anticipated movies of the year. But what movie do you look more forward to coming up in 2017? Is it just DC and Marvel movies? Is it something other than DC and Marvel movies, or both, or overall? Put your comments at the bottom. Also, click the subscribe button to this channel. You can follow us also on Facebook. We also have an open group that you can openly join. It's called Access Channel Comics Unlimited. Also, Access Channel Comics, you can follow us on Facebook. We also have an actual page for Access Channel Comics that's separate from the Access Channel Comics Unlimited. But same universe, but just kind of separate. So make sure to check that out. You can follow me on Twitter at TheBanks26. So look very forward to seeing you all come back and doing this again. It's been a fantastic year. And if I don't see you before then, I want to say Happy New Year to you. I will be saying Happy New Year to you because Access Channel Comics will be most certainly returning in 2017. So be good to yourself, be good to others in the rest of 2016 and also 2017. And remember, at Access Channel Comics, there are many, there are few, but there are none like you. Peace.